Why would I use that when I could make them white? This movie was based in Colombia and not Alabama. What if Tio Bruno was actually her dad? Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to Ella Pastoral. And as you guys saw by the title, today we will be discussing Encanto, all of the major themes, the generational trauma, all of the small details. So if you're interested in that, keep on watching. The main thing I wanted to talk about first is the main point of this movie. And the main point, in my opinion, is how generational trauma affects every generation. And so we have to go from like the very first generation that we see in this whole movie, and we need to talk about Abuela Alma. In the movie, we can see that Abuela has gone through so much. First of all, she is, I think at the time she has her triplets, she's like 19, 20 tops. And her whole village gets destroyed. Like, she's just having a good time with her husband, and all she sees is these people coming and destroying her village. So she and a lot of the townspeople, they dip out of there, only to find out these people, they're chasing after them. Where horses? These people who are running away from them, they don't even got horses. And Abuela's whole husband, Pedro, she looks at her, she looks at the triplets in her hands, and he goes, to be honest, I don't know what he thought he was doing going up to those people, but like, I guess it worked somehow. To be honest, I never understood that about the movie. What did he really think he was gonna do? Homeboy didn't have a gun, homeboy didn't have a knife, homeboy didn't have anything. So he really ran up against those, I guess the actual villains of the movie, trying to stop them. And I don't know if it was God, I don't know who it was, but like, I don't know if it was him, but like, after he gets killed trying to defend himself and his family, Abuela's her anger, her sadness, her I don't even know, her pain practically transforms and divides the little space between the villains and her, and creates a gigantic forest. And this Loki begins the movie. And so we are gonna now move on to the second generation, which are the triplets. We all know about the triplets. You got Tia, I think it's called Tia Peppa, the mom, Julieta, and then we have Tio Bruno that nobody talks about. And so obviously in the beginning of the movie, with the beautiful family Madrigal song, we know that like Tio Bruno's gone. We only got really two of the Madrigal siblings left, which is Julieta, Mirabel's mom, and then Tia Peppa. And you can tell they's under stress, especially Tia Peppa. Like, her emotions are always all over the place. And then we have the next generation. We got Tia Peppa's side. We have Julieta with her kids, Mirabel, Luisa, Isabella. Then we have Peppa with Antonio, Camilo, and Dolores. And I have to say that like, they did their thing, and every character in this movie is so relatable, except for Abuela, but we can get into that later. Everyone, I could feel like how much anxiety, how much pressure they're in. You can already tell that Abuela is super hard on Peppa. Peppa has a hard time controlling her emotions, and Abuela, she never really taught Peppa how to deal with her emotions. And that's why I personally feel like she's always like code switching and stuff, because if you look at Julieta, her emotions are all over the place like that. And we have Julieta, who is the Isabella of her generation. She's the perfect golden child. We never really see Abuela kind of getting on her case as much as she does the other two. We can see that a lot of the trauma is placed on Bruno, because Bruno's gift is helpful, but like, it isn't really helpful, because he be telling people like the truth, and you know, people don't really like the truth, so they've really ostracized this man, and he has a lot of anxiety. And homeboy literally talks to rats, so I don't know what to say. And we can see the generational trauma really in Julieta's side of the family. I mean, they were the only side of the family that really got individual songs. Luisa, she literally is having a mental breakdown. She feels like she's worthless, that she's not strong. Isabella literally has to be perfect. She is obviously Abuela, favorite child. You can see it in the color theory, but I'm gonna discuss all of the tiny little details that I've noticed in a later part of the video. And now I really want to talk about the diversity that Encanto gave us. Okay, so I see that you've gotten to this point of the video, which means you're liking the content. If you're liking the content, make sure you can give this video a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Now let's get back to the regular scheduled content. I really have to say that this generation of Disney films, they're finally giving us the diversity that we should have been had. So we have Tia Peppa. She's what I've been seeing a lot of actual Hispanic people calling her like a white Hispanic, and I really like that representation because I know that a lot of the time Hispanics are seen as like tan people, but like Hispanic just means you speak Spanish. So you can be a black Hispanic, you can be a white Hispanic, and I really love the diversity that we got. We got Tia Peppa, she's ginger, she has pale skin. We have Felix, he's a dark Afro-Latino, I think that's the proper terminology. We have my baby Antonio, I love him. You saw the curls, you saw the melanin popping up on him. You have Camilo, you have Dolores, all of the different shades. Then you have the whole other side of the family with Julieta and her side. We have Felix, and he's also of a fair complexion. And then we also have Isabella, the original material girl. She got the inches, she got the straight, long, beautiful hair. You also see that she has like very indigenous features. I've been hearing a lot of people say that, and they really love how they made the girl, the darker girl with the more indigenous features, the perfect one, and I really appreciated it. Like when she came down the staircase with her little swing, I was like, I know you see them inches first, sis. And then we have Louisa. Louisa was one of my favorite characters because like I ain't never seen nobody built like Louisa. She's so cute, she's so feminine. And my sis, I don't know if she's trying to like go for the Olympics or whatever, but my sis is built. Like I wish you would talk to Louisa some type of way. She flexes a little bit and you're done. It's done. Then we have Mirabelle, and I really love that she wears glasses and has curly hair. I just love how every member of this family is so unique. Like you look at this family and I'm like, wow, you guys are so diverse, and I really want to thank Disney and the creative team for having that for us. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the section I like to call the beauty of Encanto. And so I am going to start raving and ranting about how beautifully designed this movie was. So the first thing I want to talk about is Lin-Manuel. If you don't know Lin-Manuel, you're sleeping. You've been, I don't even know where you've been at because you've been asleep for like the last like decade or so. He's a mastermind behind In the Heights, that popular movie, Hamilton. He was also doing the soundtrack for Moana. So this man is he's known for diversity, and Lin-Manuel go like hand in hand. Like when Lin-Manuel is on a piece of media, you know he's gonna eat. You know he's gonna eat because that's what he does. I really feel like Disney did their thing by letting this man have a lot of creative direction or whatever, because he made this movie so memorable. The music was banging. We have the Isabella song where she's talking about she's not perfect. We have the Louisa song where she's talking about how much stress she's underneath. We have the Miracle song where Mirabella was begging for a miracle that she never got. And then we don't talk about Bruno. That is one of the hottest musical pieces I've heard in a long time. Ever since that movie came out, it's been on playback, back to back to back to back. Everything ate. Like Lin-Manuel, I want to say thank you. I don't know if anybody important will ever watch this video, but if you can get Lin-Manuel on a African type movie, your girl will definitely appreciate it. This is the first time I've ever actually heard a fully Spanish song in an American movie. And I was so shook because when I was watching it, I'm talking about, I'm not even gonna struggle to pronounce this word, but it's the Butterfly song that we saw at Abuela Alma's flashback. And that song literally caused me to burst into tears. The emotion, the pain. I really felt like Lin-Manuel really knows how to convey emotions in his songs. I also really like the Columbia song that he wrote. I watched somebody like make a whole think piece about this movie, and you could tell the passion that was put into this movie. He said he put a lot of research into it, and I really felt like enamored, like the world building and the culture was deep in this movie. Okay guys, so now we're gonna get to my favorite part, which is noticing the small details I don't think anybody else noticed. Okay guys, so I am actually gonna be like having a picture right here to show you guys the little details that was put into this movie that had my brain just going crazy and had me watching the movie again. So I love the fact that the directors of this movie put a lot of detail into the outfits of the characters. So if you guys are looking at that picture right there, you can see that Umbrella Alma has the mountains of the valley on her dress, which symbolize her most major pivotal moment when she got the miracle and created those mountains with her pain. You guys obviously know the one with Isabella the flower, which would symbolize her, you know, her gift. Then we have Camilo. I didn't even notice, but I think his poncho, I think that's the correct terminology. It has a chameleon, which really symbolizes the fact that, you know, homeboy's a shapeshifter. So, you know, chameleon, shapeshifter, y'all catch my drift. If you look at her earrings, you can tell that they're sun emojis. I don't know what like the proper term for that is, which symbolize her weather controlling powers. Then if you look at Louisa's dress and the hem, you can see dumbbells or weights bells. I don't know what the proper term is, but I thought that was so cute. And then if you look at Dolores's cute little scrunchy part, ignore the fact that all you hear is doors opening. My parents are coming home, but you can hear sound waves, which I think is so cute. And then for Tio Bruno, you can see that he has hourglasses on him. I didn't really notice it because it was sideways, but hourglasses represent time and sand and his vision. And lastly, for the people who have only like really one, you can see Julieta, and she has one of those like those old timey medicine thingies. I forgot what it's called, but it's the thing you use to crush medicine in. And now we're gonna talk about my baby Mirabella, because she really doesn't have a gift. She really wants to incorporate her whole family onto her outfits, because Mirabelle, she loves her family. And so you can see right there is the sun for her auntie, her tia Peppa, and then you can see the chameleon for her cousin Camilo, the weights, the flowers for her sister. I really feel like even though they were fighting for like a big chunk of the movie, Isabella and Mirabelle, they really love each other. Then you literally have her face. She sewed her face onto her dress, which is so cute. Then we have the animals. Then we have the animals for Antonio. And lastly, even though Umbrella treated her so mean, so rudely throughout the whole movie, she even has a candle that represents her Umbrella. And I really feel like the creative team for this movie, they did their thing. Because when I was watching it back, I was like, is that what I think it is? And yup, it was. I also want to talk about how you can see Bruno, Tio Bruno, in the back of We Don't Talk About Bruno, and how he was dancing along. And it later foreshadows that your homeboy was there the whole time. And I just love the small details because it makes you rewind, and it makes you like, it really makes you think, you feel me? And now we're gonna move on to the last section of this video, which is the controversy. And with the huge success of Encanto, obviously there's gonna have to be some backlash, some problematic things going on. And the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the whitewashing. So we all know that these people are from the country of Colombia. Like there's a whole song where they're literally singing Colombia. I'm gonna stop singing because that's embarrassing, but they literally sang Colombia in the thing. And people from countries that are lower of the equator are darker skinned. The only person who really isn't like darker skinned or whatever is Tia Peppa, but she's literally one of the few people who is of like fair skin. And a lot of creators, I'm not gonna be specific, but a lot of creators who aren't of a darker complexion are whitewashing these characters to be low-key the color of my door right here. And it's really upsetting because we already know that there is not a lot of representation for darker skinned characters who are darker skinned and have kinkier hair, like Antonio and Felix. And it's just kind of like, wild and crazy because a lot of these people who are making my favorite characters this complexion, they're trying to say that they're using the colors correctly, but they'll literally zoom into the highlight on the nose and say that little highlight color represents their skin. And what's crazy is that Disney has even released an official color palette because I feel like they sensed that this nonsense was going to happen, and people like, why would I use that when I could make them white? And so that's been upsetting. I'm begging y'all, please. There are a multitude of white characters for you to make white. We can even go to my good sis Tia Peppa. If you really are in love with that pale skin complexion, you can draw a lot of fan art of her. There is a villager in the village that is very pale as well. People are saying she looks like Anna. I'll put a picture here. If you want to draw fan art of her looking pale, props to you. But please, do not make a character like Antonio this color. Thanks. Love, Emma. Okay, so if you guys thought that whitewashing thing was bad, wait until I tell you that people are shipping the members of the Madrigal family together in a romantic way, and even in a R-rated way. And I just have to say, this movie was based in Colombia and not Alabama. I'm begging y'all, please. I'm begging y'all, please. I need y'all to stop. I am literally so flabbergasted because why would you think Tio Bruno and Mirabelle, his niece, should be together in that way? Why? Why? Why, guys? Like, you guys take the most wholesome things and ruin it for the rest of us. Because when I saw it, I thought, because guys, I typically wear glasses, so I thought my vision was failing me. But when I saw it, and then I looked at the tags, I knew that I decided to close the app for today. Because I don't even want to put up pictures, because this is not one of the cases if I saw it, you need to see it. I'm saving y'all from the trauma. I almost vomited all over my computer and my laptop. The whole family love affair thing was nasty. People, but they're treating these minors who are minors, meaning they're under 18, in a very 18 plus way. And it's making me very concerned because these are children. First, it was the shipping of, like, let's say Mirabelle and Bruno, or Camilo and Bruno, which is ill. But then you guys are really like making these minors R-rated, which is gross. Like, I've seen a lot of people like lusting and like sexualizing Camilo. And I don't know if you guys know anything about my good sis Google, but when you type in family Madrigal ages, you can tell like them's is kids. Camilo, and I'm pretty sure Mirabelle too, is 15. So you being like 20, talking about some, I want him. I think the only thing you want is a jail cell. So I'm gonna beg y'all to stop. I'm begging y'all. This is a PSA to stop, because I just don't want to see it no more, please. And lastly, for the controversies, I want to talk about the Hamiltonization of Encanto. So you might be asking, Emma, what the heck is a Hamiltonization of Encanto? So if you guys were listening at the beginning part of the video where I mentioned Lin-Manuel, he has another piece of work called Hamilton. And Hamilton is a very great piece of work. It literally deals with the founding fathers, but like literally all of them are people of color. And so I thought it was funny because if the founding fathers were here and they found out they were being portrayed by like black people and like Hispanics, they die. And so it's funny, but a lot of people really resonated with that piece of work and started making like LGBTQ headcanons. And so it has been ridiculed. That whole situation has been ridiculed because a lot of the times it was taken way out of hand. Like, for example, I'm gonna put this famous picture right here. I don't remember exactly what the things were, but I think they said Thomas Jefferson was a trans masculine, I don't even remember the words, but look at this picture and remember that this man owned slaves and was a white straight man. And so that's why I like to call the Hamiltonization of Encanto, because the same thing y'all did with Hamilton, y'all trying to do with my good sis Encanto. This is really not the movie for that. Like, it's okay to have like your headcanons or whatever, but I really feel like people are missing the point. Like, for example, like people are more talking about how, for example, is they think Isabella, my good sis over here, is a lesbian because she doesn't want to marry, I think his name was Mariano, and now really focusing, I think, on the fact that she didn't want to marry him, period. She didn't want to marry him because of all of the pressure that Abrilla was putting on her, and they wouldn't be a good match anyway. Like, sis did not want that man, but they're like, she's a lesbian, she's a lesbian, she's a lesbian, and they're making all of these crazy headcanons. And it's okay to have your headcanons, like, it's okay, but the fact that these headcanons are kind of taking over the movie and people are not really thinking about generational trauma, they're not really thinking about like letting like people of color have their representation. They're kind of just trying to make this movie about like LGBTQ plus representation instead of like making it about what it really is, which is generational trauma and how it can affect each level of generations. And also, some of these headcanons are borderline offensive. Like, for example, you know, my good sis Louisa, my good strong sis, they're trying to say that she's a trans woman because she's muscular, and I don't think people understand how offensive that can be, because then it can make it seem like, oh, like if a woman is too strong or whatever, she is literally trans. And that in itself is really offensive, and people aren't taking the nuances with that. And so that's why I would like y'all to chill out. Like, I'm not saying that you can't have any of your LGBTQ plus representation or headcanons, but I think you shouldn't let those headcanons cloud the movie. It isn't about that. I know I told you guys that the last section was the last section, but I lied because now I want to talk about headcanons, and I want to talk about theories that make my brain go like, so the first one I would like to talk about is the Coraline AU. If you guys don't know about the movie Coraline, it's practically about my good sis over here, Coraline, who is low-key neglected by her parents, and so she gets lured into another magical world where this woman, the other mother, treats her really well under the condition that eventually she low-key sells her soul to her and becomes one of her children. And this is a very interesting AU when implied to Encanto, because we all know that the story between Coraline and Mirabelle low-key is similar. And in this AU, it's practically stated that the reason why the casita is having all of those cracks is because the other mother in this AU is breaking the house by trying to lure Mirabelle in. And so it's very interesting because, like, in this AU, the way Mirabelle is lured in via the door, the other mother gives her a door. And so this AU is very spicy because, like, it explores a whole alternate universe. What if Mirabelle got a door? What if that's the plot of the movie? Another thing that I wanted to discuss is what Mirabelle's gift would be if she got a gift. And I've been seeing a lot of people discussing maybe she can sew things and turn them into life, because I already showed you in the small details section that my sis knows how to sew. Like, she literally sewed her whole face onto her dress. Like, so I feel like if she were giving a power, that would be her power. Another theory that's also very interesting is, what if Tio Bruno was actually her dad? And before you guys are like, wait a minute, but if Julieta's her mom, listen. So in this theory, it states that Mirabelle is actually the biological daughter of Bruno, because a lot of people have noticed that there are a lot of symbolical references between them. And so practically they want to say, like, what if Bruno, like, not abandoned Mirabelle, but left Mirabelle so she could have a better life, and Julieta, his sister, raised her. That's a very interesting theory, because I do see a lot of symbolical references between them, but we can just like notice that it's supposed to be the symbolical references that generational trauma happens between each generation. I just thought it was a very cool little sub theory. Okay guys, it seems that we're finally at the end of the video. If you got to this point of the video, thank you so much for getting to here. I know this video was low-key long. As you can tell, this is my movie. Ain't nobody love Encanto like how I love Encanto. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!